Hello and welcome to Cheshire Audio. Now then, my demonstrator Brio, at long last, I'm actually going to claim one for myself, arrived today. So what I'm going to do is a bit of an unboxing video on that. But beforehand, I thought what I'd do is like run through the history of the Brio, because it's quite interesting. It's sort of, I don't think people realise how long it's been around. This is a mk7, and I was struggling quite a bit to try and remember all the different variants of it. I think I got it up to about 5 variants, but I've had to do a bit of. I've been on the Rega website, and they've got a really good sort of list of when products come out and dates and whatever. So I've been actually researching, which is not like me at all. I've done some research. I've even got all the dates written down in front of me over there, so I can refer to it, because I'll obviously forget straight away. Sort of in the 80s. The sort of budget amplifier market was dominated totally by an AD 3020 and the Creek 4040 as well. Actually, not quite as well known, but that was in sort of specialist shops. That was sort of really well regarded. And literally, those two amplifiers, pretty much all the way through to about 1990, so were the go-to amplifiers. Really, I mean, there was a few others came and went. There was Nitec 202, Marantz PM. Which one was it? PM3 something. I can't remember which one it was now, but there was a decentish Marantz actually, it had lights on it and stuff like that. So people, champagne gold, I seem to remember it was. That was okay actually. But yeah, basically the Nad and the Creek kind of dominated really. If you're wondering why I'm all off to one side, I'm actually going to do some pictures here. This is the theory of it, but I haven't just badly set my camera up. 1991. I mean, Rega had been around for, at this point, I don't know what this one out, 15 years, I suppose. So 73, 78, 88, well, nearly 20 years actually. No, close to 20 years, early 90s, 1991. Almost 20 years, and I'd just been making record players. They'd brought out an amplifier in 1990 called the Illicit, which they still do. There've been various versions of the Illicit over the years. There was a long period when they didn't make an Illicit. But the original Illicit was an amazing amplifier, twin transformers, really high-grade components. It was just a lovely sounding amp, really. It's still well regarded. It wasn't massively reliable, from what I remember. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it's probably one of the few Rega products that I can think of that has ever had sort of fairly consistent reliability issues. Partly because there's so much in it. The two big transformers, very slim case. The same as the first Brio, which I'll show you a picture of in a sec. A year later, Brio. Yeah, so I'm doing this all back to front, aren't I? We'll get the first Brio, which is in what they call sort of a clamshell design. I'll put a picture of it here. So two halves of almost sort of moulded, or cast, should I say, top and bottom that bolt together, and then a little plastic panel at the front with all the controls on. Worked really well, actually. A bit of a pig to take apart if you ever had to take one apart, but a lovely thing, really heavy. It felt really well made. And the Brio was, it's a bit of a cliche, but a real giant killer. I mean, it was such a good amplifier for the money. Had sort of a hint of the sound of the Illicit. I mean, because the Illicit was up competing against sort of lower to mid-end name stuff, but the Brio had this sort of musicality and the natural sort of Rega-y thing going on that we've sort of come to know. Right back then, the very first one, it was superb, a really superb amplifier. Sold loads of them. Now that design continued until I'm looking at my notes. I think this is a difficult one because I can't remember. There's on the list. There's a Brio 2, no pictures. The Brio 2, I think, that came out in 1996. I think the Brio 2 was a full width, more sort of traditional looking amplifier, a bit like, and I'll move ahead now. In 2000, we had the Brio 2000, I'll put a picture there. And then we had the Brio 3 in 2006, which looked very similar. This one I'm going to put up, that's just in silver, because there was an option. I think the Brio 2 looked the same. If I'm wrong, email me, let me know, because I can't remember. Really, I have a feeling that the Brio 2 was that sort of sculpted design. Though I think it might have been the first of that sculpted design. Move things on a little bit, really. those 3 versions sort of slowly got better. I never quite felt that the build of those was as good as the original. Not quite. I mean, it's still nicely made, but just not, didn't have that sort of hewn from solid feel that the original Clamshell one had. I think, now this is testing my memory a little bit, I think the Brio 2, if that's what we're thinking of, had a metal front plate on it and then a sort of folded metal top. I think that they might have gone, when they went to Brio 2000, to a plastic front panel, like a moulded, quite well made, but I think it went to plastic after that. Looks exactly the same, but had a plastic front panel. I mean, cost reasons, possibly sound considerations as well, because metal casework isn't ideal, generally. After this, we went to Brio 3. No, we didn't. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting there. Brio R, right. Now the Brio R, I can show you, because what I've done, I brought my own personal Brio R from home, and from now on we've got examples of. I've tried to gather together all the Brios I can get hold of, and literally it's only two plus the new 7. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the camera now. We'll have a look at the Brio R, and I've also got the last incarnation of the the Brio as well, which was just called the Brio. Before I do that, I'll just do dates. Brio R came out in 2011. Looks at notes, and the amplifier just called the Brio came out in 2016. Let's have a look. Okay, so on the left, Brio R. On the right, that's the very last version before the Mark 7 came out, which is just called Brio. Some people still call that Brio R. I'm not sure. I think basically that was just known as the Brio. Personally, apart from the original Clamshell, I think this is my favourite design. I would never quite warm to the sort of curved front panel of this. It looks well made and it looks modern, but something about the sort of flat-fronted Brio R. This was the first Brio to have remote control, if I remember rightly, which was a bit of a shock when they did it. First, I think, to go to the half-width styling, available black silver. This is actually quite a rare amp. They hardly sold any of this range in silver at all. Really, really rare. This is my own personal one from home, which may be for sale actually. I actually bought that new basically as a standby, because I had a valve amp at the time and it blew up big style, and I bought a Brio R just to run until it was repaired, and then just kept hold of it and used it. So that might be for sale. I'm just saying that out loud now. Is it for sale? Could be. Contact me if you're interested in that. No box, so you'd have to come and get it. And then we go to the Brio, which, yeah, like I say, styling-wise, it's interesting when you look between these two. I've never really noticed this before, but actually they're very, very similar. I mean, a similar operation on the front. You've got the on-off switch, a little button that sort of cycles through inputs, volume control. I must say that volume control feels nicer than the Brio. And again with this, we're just cycling through inputs on here. Headphone socket, no headphone socket. That's one difference. We go to having a headphone. Start to get features. Anyway, same number of inputs. If you look at the back, it almost looks as though these are kind of the same chassis, really. The same layout of inputs and speaker outputs, main socket, fuse, pretty much exactly the same on the back of there. Yeah, I mean, sonically there was an improvement to this, but I don't remember it as being massive. It wasn't sort of a big revelation or anything. Hence me still using my old Brio R, really. So anyway, let's get on to unboxing. Quite excited about this. Okay, so Brio Mark 7. Brio Mark 7. It's the first time they've actually said Mark anything, actually. I suppose you could say Brio 3. But yeah, no, they seem to be doing that now. A lot of the new products are Mark something, because I think they're starting to realise there's a fair old family of Brios and quite a family of the phono stages and a few of the other projects they do that they've done so many versions of now. It's getting quite major. So, well, saying that, if you think about 1991 through to present day, they don't change the models that often. To have how many is it? Gotta get me I've lost my bit of paper already. Where's it gone? 7. Of course it's 7. Mark 7. 7 versions in 34 years. So it's not like the changing model every season just to get another review or anything. You only ever really change models if they can really improve on previous. Never totally happy with this packaging. It sort of works, but they've sort of plastic bands holding the mains leading. Never known any get damaged, to be fair, so it does work. But yeah, remote control, but in a bit more of a sort of serious looking remote control than previous. Instructions. There you go. Get into the bag without ripping it too much. Well, there we go. I've had some really good feedback on the people who've actually bought these, because I've had a few go out who have been really impressed by them. One chap who sort of had previous Brios said it's quite a not a substantial improvement, but a really noticeable improvement over previous models. There you go. I really like the look of this actually. It's a bit more harking back to, if I can do this without, I'll have to get hold of it. It has a little protective film on the front, which I might have to do. Oh, there you go. Come on. Problem having no fingernails. I'm going to make you watch this all the way through till I've done it. Got it. There you go. Yeah, very similar. It's like a miniature version of an Athos, really, or it's got that little sort of flange around the volume control. Feels nice, actually, that. This feels really nicely made. Now we've got, that's interesting, that's not a push-in button, that's a little standby button. That's new. Then we've got the input selector, and so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so we've got 4 line inputs, and then D1, D2. Not happy about that, if I'm honest. Why have you done? Anyway, but there's a market. I think they've probably looked into it and realised that it is a thing. Back panel. Should be doing this on the shelf really, shouldn't I? I'll do it on the shelf. I'm going to move it now. So there you go, all lined up. I've got to say, I think that is a very attractive looking amplifier. Really, we've got sort of high gloss in there and the sort of chunky surround. Volume control that is sort of aping the other models like the Athos and I'm trying to think which, there's only one of the other two who's got it. Is it the Illicit or the, I think it's the Illicit actually. It's got this sort of surround on it like this. Really nice feel to the controls. I'm almost thinking, actually looking at it now, I think I almost prefer it to the Brio R, really. It just looks a little bit more, is serious a word? I suppose, yeah, it just looks a little bit more sort of solid and purposeful, that's the word I'm thinking of. It might be slightly deeper front to back actually. I'll sort of compare the two a little bit in a second and just see if it is. Yeah, I was going to look at the back panel, but I got sidetracked. Yeah, I think that's really nice actually. I think that'll do really well. Yeah, so look at the back panel. Quite interesting looking at the back panels. Tells you quite a bit, this actually. It's like I was saying, these two look like they are actually derivatives of each other, which I think in 99% they sort of were really. It's a bit of an improvement going to the newer Brio, but it was a big styling exercise really to try and sort of modernise it. Going to the 7, quite radically different on the back panel. I mean, most of the inputs outputs have moved. Your mains is probably roughly in the same place, but it's gone through 90 degrees. Your fuse has moved off to the side. Speaker outputs are more centralised. We've got the 4 RCA inputs. These 2 are your record player, then 3 other lines. See, it's actually got an accessible earth, because previous versions of the Brio, well, the 2 previous versions of the Brio, this earth point was on the bottom, which was a pig. I can understand why they did it, because it was probably a better earth point, but it was, you'd connect all your system up and then realise you had to do the earth, and you'd forgotten that it was on the bottom, so you have to tip it over with everything connected. It was a bit of a pain really. So quite glad to see that on there. Then you've got your 2 digital. Speaker outputs, you'll notice there's a little black bum on the end there. That's standard with a lot of new amps now. This would have had the same. It was something to do with some European directive that because French mains plugs are sort of roughly spaced the same, just to stop any confusion basically. So all you have to do is, if you can get your finger behind it, just ping them out. I'm going to make you watch this now all the way through. Oh, it's coming out. It's going to. They can be quite difficult to get out. Sometimes you have to get a bit of a blade and just give it a little push to bring it out. But yeah, standard, pretty similar 4mm outputs to the previous generations really. So you've got bare wire, you can use spade, you can use 4mm once you take the little bung out. So yeah, it's looking good. Is it longer? Let's have a look. I think it is, you know. Possibly, yeah, slightly. If you look, there's a little bit. Oh, there's about, might be an inch longer, perhaps. I believe, sort of thinking back, I believe that's to do with the board for the DAC, possibly. So, I also believe that they've managed, like they did with the LX, to add the DAC board in there and not have any negative effect on the rest of the amplifier. There will have been, but I think what they've done, they've engineered the amp, basically improved on the quality of the amplifier to sort of counter that and give you some extra. So, because the LX with the DAC in it is better than the previous version of the LX. I can't remember what mark that is, but I was worried about that because the LX is one of my favourite mid-price amplifiers, and I thought, don't ruin it by putting a DAC in. They haven't at all. They've made it better. Typical Rega. I don't know quite how they do these things. So yeah, there you go. I shall be running it in over this. Well, it's next week. This is Friday, so it'll be running it in over next week, and I'll let you know my thoughts. But like I say, a lot of customers out there, there's people, my customers and sort of conversations I've heard generally seem to be that it's quite a big step up. So let's see. I'll give you my review shortly. Yeah, so I hope you like that. Going to quite enjoy running that one in. It means I'm going to have to take the Simply Italy off downstairs. I probably should do really. I probably should rotate a bit. But I'll get it running. I'll let you know. It's interesting. I get quite excited about stuff like this, sort of budget end, because it sort of affects more people. I think there's more. You know, the Brio has always been a sort of bread and butter product really. There's a lot of people. It's a bit like the old NAD 3020. A lot of people going through the first systems will have owned a Brio, and this is a new, better version of it. So you know, it's quite exciting. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I was going to tell you all the videos I'm going to be doing soon, but they've all gone out of my head. I wanted to do something on how to tell if your system's in or out of phase. I designed an experiment to do that, and when I tried it, it worked back to front, and I'm actually starting to think now that the pair of speakers I was using might be wired incorrectly internally, so I'm going to have to try and investigate that. I didn't have time to pursue it, so I'm going to investigate that and see what's going on, because it's a fairly simple experiment to do, but it just didn't work. So it's something I've done loads of times, but anyway. Reviews wise, I've got all the new Dali stuff downstairs. I'm starting to remember now. Got the Dali Ruby Core stuff, which I'm loving. The little stand mats. I haven't got the big ones out yet because I'm going to have to make space in the box store so that I can put the boxes away. So I can't unbox them until I've got somewhere to put the boxes. These are the problems of running a hi-fi shop. Not what you would think. It's where do I put the box now? So that's it. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget you can buy me a coffee if you use any of the instructional videos or anything like that, and you want to, you know, a little thing of gratitude if you want to. Only if you want to do that. I'm not insisting on it, obviously. But loads of people have done that. It's been lovely. So yeah, I'll see you in a future video.